now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe, and we begin with politics. As the All Progressives Congress, the APC, has described the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, and the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, as the most confused, clueless, rudderless, and pitiful opposition politicians the country has ever known. That's a direct quote. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, in a statement said, and I quote, "Since El-Rufai's failed bid for a ministerial appointment, he has gone into a political tailspin." The ruling party stressed that it was now clear to all Nigerians that El-Rufai and his cohorts in ADC were on a mission to upend the presidential rotational principle designed to promote national unity and cohesion in the country through the imposition of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as presidential candidate of the ADC in the middle of a southern presidency rotation. Reacting to the APC statement, the ADC has told the APC to stop weaponizing personal attacks to deflect from its failures in governance, adding that it has a responsibility to answer to the people. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC said the APC has continued to behave like an opposition party, despite controlling the full machinery of the Nigerian government, and challenged it to answer for its record on insecurity, economic collapse, and national disunity. Well, we remain with political issues as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has handed new conditions for the proposed National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and ultimately for the overall peace of the party. Speaking during a media chat, Wike, who insisted that he had not left the PDP, said for the crises tearing the party into shreds to end, the resolutions at the South-South Zonal Congress that was held in Calabar must be upheld before the PDP convention scheduled for November. Also yesterday, Wike disclosed that the subsisting emergency rule in Rivers State would be over soon, adding that President Bola Tinubu was not bent on extending the emergency proclamation. He also affirmed that the Rivers State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, had the constitutional authority to oversee the elections and restore democratic governance at the grassroots level. That's referring to the council elections. Now, last but certainly not least, the nation remains in a celebratory mood. This is days after the historic 10th African title for the female football team, the Super Falcons. The nation is agog again, celebrating the female basketball team, the Tigers, champions of the Afro-Basket Championship for the 5th consecutive time. On behalf of a grateful nation, President Bola Tinubu conferred national honors on all members of the team, along with $100,000 reward to each of the players and an additional $50,000 to members of the technical team. Arise correspondent Ebi Iyomon reports.
Another page added to their basketball fairy tale, Nigeria.
Fresh off their victory, the triumphant The Tigers team returned to Nigeria to a hero's welcome and were hosted at the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja by Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Tinubu. Speaking on behalf of the president, Shettima announced a $100,000 reward for each player, a flat, and the national honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger. Members of the coaching and technical crew were also recognized and rewarded.
OON nationality honors for team, coach, and technical team. $100,000 for each player. It's not yet over. There are other goodies coming. $50,000 for coach and technical team, each member. And wait for the final icing on the cake. One flat each for players, coach, and technical team. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is leadership. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown leadership by recognizing and rewarding our daughters who had excelled on the continental stage. May God bless all you all. May God bless Nigerian sports. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, also congratulated the team, commending them for securing an automatic ticket to the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup in Berlin, Germany.
This victory is not just a win on the court. It is a resounding statement of hard work, excellence, and national pride. This is a moment that will forever inspire generations of Nigerian girls and women to dream big, boldly, and pursue greatness. It is a clear indication that hard work and teamwork is what it takes to succeed.
Team captain Ami Okonkwo expressed gratitude on behalf of the players, describing the recognition as a motivation to keep pushing boundaries.
I'm thankful that we get to represent our country. We're thankful to be able to continue our excellence in our sport, the gift that God gave us. It means the world to us to be able to be hosted here today and to be able to represent our country in this way, to bring back another championship, to be able to inspire young women, young girls around the world, that they can one day too be in our shoes.
Led by head coach Rena Wakama, the D Tigers clinched their 5th consecutive AfroBasket title and 7th overall, with a dominant 78-64 win over Mali in Sunday's final. A.B. Iyomo, Horizon News.
There you have it, Queens of Africa.
Beautiful moment, deserving reward. Of course, we continue to congratulate and celebrate with our D Tigers.
Congratulations. So I think Dr. Batia and I and Vimbai should probably look for something to go and win on behalf of Nigeria. So that we take to...
No, we are already winning everything.
President Tinubu. Huh? No, but we've not won something that is big enough so that we can go to President. They will give us $100,000 too.
What we are doing deserves more than $100,000.
So let's go. Mr. Bayo, you can arrange the meeting. We will all come to come and visit. We'll get $100,000. A plot of land or a house.
But which trophy will we go to? We get an event organizer
we'll get somebody to organize something for us.
And say, we are champions.
Yes, because we too, we must collect that $100,000. Yes. We must. President, the way you are dashing $100,000, Nigeria don't better. Hope they will not say subsidy money. The boys are going to, the boys must win World Cup. And that one is going to be $200,000. It can't be $100,000. President Tinubu, kudos to you, but let's watch it. Let's watch it. It will get to a point you will not be able to sustain it. And there's also a point for sensitivity in this country. It will get to a point you will not be able to sustain it. Military officers worked 35 years. I'm not sure they get up to $100,000 when they retire. Other people too that need things in society. I'm not saying they don't reward them. And I commend you for actually going out to reward them. In fact, we've advocated for more rewards. But let's also watch it. I think people around you should be able to think of a probable way to be able to balance this rewards out so that it's sustainable and it's something that is something we can sustain. But I think we should watch it. Because the next flock that will come along, maybe the handball team or the cricket team will win too, and they will want their own $100,000. Or anyone. Moving on. I think it's very surprising that the APC that celebrated Nasir El-Rufai just only 2 years ago, that the president said he needs so much in Kaduna, is now saying El-Rufai does not know. What he's saying is confused. The same El-Rufai that Felix Morka is saying wants to destabilize the principle of rotation was the same El-Rufai that championed this same principle of rotation, kicked against the forces in his party that wanted power to go to the north. The same El-Rufai was instrumental for making a case for a southern president or southern presidency ticket to emerge in the APC. If you look at my other commentaries, I don't agree with El-Rufai on many things. And I don't think I would. But for my job here as an analyst, I just want to balance out the facts. Yes, Felix Morka claims because things didn't go El Rufai's way as regards the ministerial position. I accept that argument. But the question is, why didn't things go El Rufai's way? The question is, did anything El Rufai did for the emergence of President Tinubu, was it supposed to be for free? Did you people reward El Rufai appropriately? Was he betrayed? If he acted in good faith to be able to herald the emergence of President Tinubu, he did his best, even answered questions under the Teamship platform in Chatham House, rallied round to get votes, led other governors to sue the Federation for Naira policy, and many other things that he stood tall. But it was time to give him something. And they claim because of security report, he wasn't giving anything. And a man feels betrayed and is crying. And you, Mr. Felix Morka, thinks he should not cry. The same man that supported the Southern presidency, that put his foot down. Could you have said this to El Rufai about 2 years ago? I'm not holding breath for El Rufai, but I'm just trying to balance the conversation. I don't agree with El Rufai on many things. It doesn't mean I will not hit him hard tomorrow. But in all of this is the hypocrisy of politics. And that's why I say it's too dirty a game for me to do. I mean, I can't even understand how people are in bed today and they are at loggerheads tomorrow. It pretty much reminds me of 007. Living the life of an average politician is akin to living the life of 007, where you have something for breakfast and death for dinner. You can read between the lines. And as regards Minister Wike, obviously, there's nothing Minister Wike said that I'm surprised about. He owns the PDP. In fact, I want to have a song for Minister Wike today. Wike's got the PDP. In his hands, he's got the PDP. In his hands, he's got the PDP. In his hands, he's got the PDP in his hands. So, the owner of the PDP has just said again that if you don't make Dan Obi the position I want him to be, and whatever you did in the Southeast to bring out a leader, if you don't do the same, I will activate the mechanism of neck pressing of the PDP. And I will do it again and again. So he has given them condition. Like they don't do it, like they do it is their own cup of tea. Before you know it, he will squeeze and press their neck again. Wike, you don't do this one. Go on, son, Jerry. Not that I support you in everything, no. Not that I support you in anti-party. Not that I support what you're doing for the party. Because it's also tantamount to destruction and hurtful to the party. But on this, in terms of that PDP matter, you don't win. I yield the floor.
Okay, let me start with the Tigress, Nigeria's queens, the other queens. The other day we said the Super Falcons were queens, having won the West Africa Women African Cup of Nations the 10th time. Now the ladies have done it again. In basketball, they've won Afro-Basket title of Africa, FIBA women's basketball the 7th time. 5 times consecutively. 2 years back-to-back under head coach Rena Wakama. And I think it's, an important achievement that should be celebrated. I've made the point that, look, women in Nigeria have shown that they are consistent. They have shown that they have the capacity to achieve. And I've also said that by extension, perhaps it's an indication that women, including the girl child, should be given better opportunities in this Nigerian environment, whether it's in politics or it's in sports. And so Rena Wakama's led team yesterday, again, did us proud by coming home with that trophy. Now, Senegal has a record for Afro basketball in the continent, 11 times. Now, Nigeria has won it 7 times. And Rena Wakama, the head coach, is saying, we are not stopping. We're going to beat Senegal's record. And I say, ladies, that is the spirit. Now, when they decided at the end of the day on who gets what award or whatever, it was even a Nigerian, Emi Okonkwo, who got the most valuable player for the 2nd time in a row. The others were Sika Kone. In Mali, they have a Sika Kone, who is very good. In South Sudan, who are debutants appearing for the first time, they have Washington. I think that's her name, Delicia Washington. And she was the top scorer in that particular event. Senegal has also Diliad. Uganda has, what's her name again? Asande or something, Asinde, something like that. So those were the top 5 in the tournament. What does this tell us? It tells us that basketball in the continent is growing. In the last FIBA World Cup, Nigeria, in fact, made it to the quarterfinals, on the basis of which Rena Wakama was named the best coach of the tournament. So there is a future for basketball in Africa. So, and we are happy. We congratulate all these ladies. Some of them are based abroad. And in a commentary that I wrote this morning on the back page of this day newspaper, I made the point that these ones are different from Kemi Badenoch, who is always condemning Nigeria. These ones are proud of their background. These ones are proud of their heritage. These ones are proud of their ancestry. And we are very proud of them too, that they are not people who will stay in England. They will be referring to cutlass as a machete to give the impression that Nigeria is in a bad state. Anyway, let's talk about what is bad enough. Let us talk about the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has again shown appreciation of these ladies. He has treated them the same way he treated the Super Falcons. Well, I know the reception yesterday was also just as brilliant. And I hope the private sector will also pay attention. They were received by Vice President Kashim Shettima. And for those people who say Vice President Shettima is not being involved in processes, well, this is one example where, he's allowed to also take charge. And he did take charge, and he represented us well yesterday. The ladies got $100,000 cash equivalent in Naira, 3-bedroom flat in renewed Hope Estate. Their coaches, and crew also got $50,000. However, the only sore point here is that there are many Nigerians who are saying that, well, it's not just girls, ladies who should be collecting largesse because they have represented the country very well. There are persons in academia, university teachers, whose salaries are not paid regularly. There are pensioners who are not being paid attention to. There are primary school and secondary school teachers in the LCT who are on the road protesting. There are judges and other workers in the judiciary who are saying they are not being well served. President Tinubu should pay attention to them too, because all of us should be happy together. I don't know which game we can create on this table so that we too can get our own golden handshake. But in any case, this is the point. And I've made the point about other athletes who were part of football, female football, and female basketball before now, who are not yet there. They established the foundation for the present achievement. I think they too should be remembered, and something should be done for them. Now, as for APC and ADC banding words, I think it's rather early in the day that this game has started. Spokespersons, it's the natural thing for spokespersons to fight on both sides of the aisle. So you have Felix Moka pouring every possible negative adjective on Nasir Rufai and Atiku Abubakar. He says they are stupid. He says they are opportunistic. He says they are selfish. He says they have nothing to offer. And then Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, who is the spokesperson of the ADC, replied and said, look, what are we talking about? We're talking about insecurity, hunger, poverty, joblessness. Why is the ruling APC behaving like an opposition party? Can you just focus on the serious issues of the moment? So you are bound to get more of this. But I repeat the point I have made previously, which is as follows. Namely, that both the opposition and the ruling party should focus on ideas. We would like to listen on both sides to alternative contestation of ideas across the aisle. What can be done to make this country better? I don't care what Nasir Rufai does with himself. He can make his own choice. He's a citizen. He can do what he likes. What Felix Moka thinks about Nasir Rufai is not my business. Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, he has been minister, he has been vice president rather, he has been chairman, economic council. What did you do? Look, all of that is beside the point. How do we move this country forward? What can we do about the major issues of the day? That's what is of benefit to us. It's not which spokesperson can sit in front of the dictionary and search for more adjectives, that is more heavy sounding, more heavy pounding. That should not be the nature of our politics, because that is not democracy that we are promoting, where everybody is just promoting their individual egos and trying to grab the headlines. And the media should also manage the process. It's not everybody that comes and say, this person will talk and invite reactions. No, we also have a responsibility to moderate the diarrhea of the mouth that many spokespersons are going to inflict upon themselves as we move forward. As for Wike, what is there to say about him? What did he do again yesterday? Okay, he had a presidential media chat in which he was dictating to the PDP, the same party that should have disciplined him long ago. He's saying that he does not recognize Chief Aleo Defa. He says Chief Danobi must be the person who is recognized as the national vice chairman, South-South. And if that does not happen, there will be a crisis. He even preempted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He told us yesterday that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to call off the state of emergency in Rivers State. So he already knows, because he has taken the decision, acting as the president of Nigeria. He also told us that local council elections will take place, and it is the caretaker sole administrator who is going to conduct it. I don't understand this kind of politics. And then, of course, he too took time out to abuse El-Rufai. Well, let me just end by saying all these distractions, very unimportant digressions. I just want to say that, look, we want the politics of decency, we want the politics of civility, we want politics that is driven by ideas, not by ego, not about verbal diarrhea, not about emotions, so that Nigeria can project itself as a country that is running a serious-minded democracy.
Absolutely. Just to conclude on Minister Nyesom Wike and all issues pertaining to PDP, I think the PDP as a party as a whole needs to decide whether it's okay with remaining in a realm of being fiefdom-like, because it's now extremely clear that there is a fiefdom that is currently being run within that political party, and it's doing so with no impunity. So as a party, they need to decide if that's the stance that they're comfortable taking, because there's a majority of members who belong to this party who continue to speak about how the party will move forward. However, we're not seeing seeing that translating into any real tangible action. Again, you have a single individual who's threatening crisis yet again within the party, but you can't blame him because it's allowed to happen and it's without consequence. So I think the PDP needs to have a rethink and really decide what it wants for its organization. I'll quickly go to statements exchanged between the APC and the ADC, just to cut through all of the noise, because there was a lot of noise, in the long list of insults and abusive words. For me, the instructive point there was a conversation around the rotational principle of the presidency. Now, I think we need to be very careful, and I know we've had these conversations around the principle of rotation time and time again. However, it's now time for us to really sit down and interrogate whether this principle is really going to move us forward and whether it's the principle that we are ready to die on, so to speak, with regards to making important political decisions such as who is going to lead the nation. Now, when you read what the experts have to say about the principle of rotation, it's actually used as a peacekeeping tool, not a governance tool. So we now need to ask ourselves if we're really ready to continue to hinge our governance, our leadership, the direction of a nation on identity, on a peacekeeping tool that's usually used to manage situations after a conflict. There's just one country in Africa that has a constitutional, that recommends rotation via its constitution, and that's Comoros. And even then, it has fallen apart in Comoros and it has been effectively suspended. Now, why do we get to this point? We get to this point because intrinsically, it is undemocratic to say some people will be excluded from the race because of their identity. What does it do? It makes identity transactional. It freezes identity politics, where we're supposed to be moving forward, where we're supposed to be growing deeper in nation building, where we're supposed to be building a stronger fundamental of national identity. We keep regressing back to this, I call it a joker card of, oh, by the way, it's our turn. It's the turn of this region. It's the turn of that region. So I think it's time for us to bring back a conversation, a robust debate about whether we want to be stuck in this frozen place of identity politics. We see it continue to get more and more toxic every single election cycle. And we're stuck in that place. And where is the room for meritocracy in all of this? Where is the room for national healing? Where is the room for governance? Because, like I said, the principle of rotation is usually recommended as a peacekeeping tool and not a governance tool. Now, very quickly on D-Tigress, again, we celebrate them. Of course, as a women's ministry, very overjoyed and excited with the ladies. But a very salient point has been made on this table this morning, which is that as much as the reward is very important, let's create a country that has systems that intrinsically reward high flyers and achievers. It goes back to the conversation around meritocracy, because when we are celebrating D-Tigress, when we're celebrating Super Falcons, we're not looking at whether the person who scored the winning basket or the winning goal is from the north or the south. Okay, is it the turn of the south to be the coach of the Super Falcons or the Super Eagles? That's not the conversation. It's all about ability. It's all about the ability to deliver and to do what needs to be done on the day. So I think in all of this, with all of the insults that are being traded and the debate, there is an important debate that needs to be had around this principle of rotation. Yes, as an ethical concern, as a sentimental concern, it holds merit. However, we now need to sit down and have a difficult conversation about how much longer we are ready to continue to pander to the identity politics that are prevailing at the moment, and whether they're really moving our country forward or whether they're just deepening and creating more room for national crises in the process of trying to ensure that different parts of the country are appeased with each different electoral season.